Hello there, Bic Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War 4 on the PC on Inconceivable difficulty. This is my solo guide and walkthrough. We are currently on Act 3-5. It is entitled Elevator to Hell. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the second of the three Horde-like chapters. And what I'm going to do at first to prevent some annoying things from happening, namely getting slashed up by the juvies and then having to restart the chapter every time, is I'm going to set down a couple of grenades over there. Now, I only came into this stage with 2 grenades, and to my knowledge, there are only 2 grenades for free on this stage that you can pick up. But these juvies can really get the best of you if you aren't cautious about dealing with them. And they spawn when you approach the second lever. So you might have heard the little clear music. I like the clear music on this game. But anyway, once you have killed that set of juvies, then they're going to let you pull the lever, and then we're going to be unofficially starting I say unofficially because they don't put the countdown timer until you've cleared the first wave. Now, like in the previous Horde video, I've put wave X of whatever coming, and that will be visible in the bottom left of the screen each time. But this turned out to be quite a frustrating chapter for me personally, and one of the reasons is that there is a rather long load at this point, because what they pretty much want you to do in between each wave is just to set up some fortifications. But for some reason, the wait time for the juvies to spawn over here is incredibly long. I have no idea what is involved with it. It can't be about loading. I don't know if it's just to develop some tension or just to give you enough time to set up your fortifications, but I honestly don't think that's the reason, because if they were that accommodating about setting allowing the person to set up his fortifications, they would let the person move a little bit faster, and they would give that person more time to put his fortifications where he wants to. But yeah, I don't care for these chapters. Now, so what we're trying to do here is just fend off enemies. It's the same thing that we did at the first act, and we're going to be doing it a couple more times. And this is a tricky wave, because these guys just jump all the hell over the place. Now, you might want to try putting that scarecrow device, because it seems to distract them a little bit. So, I'm not sure how many credits, or how much energy it takes to create one of those. But are we still doing this? Yeah, this is still okay. So we're still on the first wave. It should be finishing up right about now, though. But all this first fucking wave is, guys, and gals, it's just these juvies. And they're going to intersperse some juvies on the third wave, but it's yet again just, this was, I was doing this on the night that my opera program was on. I got so frustrated, I don't even know what Sean Dick was playing over at Capital Public Radio. I think he was playing something by Wagner, and Wagner is one of my favorite opera composers, and I couldn't even focus. I was upset. I turned the fucking program off. This chapter ruined my shit fest. I was pissed. I was really pissed off. But now we've got wave 2 incoming. I didn't have too many problems on wave 2, quite honestly, and I don't I don't think you're going to see me fashion too many of the like the scarecrow devices. Now I'm going to be fashioning these things here, these strong turrets that cost 8,000, because they're very helpful in destroying enemies. Yeah, okay, so this is wave 2. Enemies are going to be coming over here from the right at first, and if you time it right, you can have this huge cage that's housing that cylinder fall on enemies. I honestly don't think that I succeeded in doing so. It's nice to try though. So I came here with a torque and the custom Lancer. If somebody can explain to me why there are 2 Lancers in this game, one says Lancer, one says custom Lancer. I know Marcus supposedly gives you a Lancer and there's an achievement for carrying the Lancer or something like that, but I don't know why it has to be so convoluted about it, you know? Why? What's so, you know? You certainly can't customize it for yourself you know? But one of the problems about these waves is that if your teammates fall, it's great that they come back and try to get a revive by you. You know, that's awesome, you know? We're long past the days of having to go pick up Dom back in Gears of War 2, you know, unless we want to fail the mission. But at least they crawl back to you, and they're pretty good at crawling back to you. But it's basically going to be up to you, and you're going to have to manage your credits and just realize that if you're too frivolous about buying stuff, you might be buying stuff like don't buy certainly don't buy any Lancer ammunition, because it's all available for free over here. But this is pretty much the area that I stood last time. I think I've always stood over here, and it's a good place to stand. There's no drawbacks to standing behind the fabricator box. No drawbacks at all. I'm surprised I didn't die right there. Okay, now we have a classic example of what the main problem about this section is. When both of your teammates are no longer active on the battlefield and they're crawling back to you. Not only is there a little... See, we've got a problem with detection right there. It's just that your teammates... It does go to show, when your teammates have fallen down, it goes to show that they are very helpful while they're active. I mean, obviously they're not active now, but when they are active and when they're not being put down by enemies, and I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming myself, because I'm just staying back here, not doing anything but shooting with the Lancer. So I'm not blaming the game for my teammates falling, but it does go to show you that your teammates do a hell of a good job of distracting enemies. And I'm gonna be kind of cautious about saying this, but with killing the enemies. But if they don't do the latter too much, they do the former pretty well about distracting enemies. They do a pretty damn good job about that, because it definitely shows when your teammates are down. Look at this. Like, wait until you see the conclusion of the next wave. I had about 3 of these hunters right next to me, and I somehow didn't die. It was absolutely amazing. Now, okay, so this is the preparation that we're going to be doing for the final wave, although we will be facing some pouncers later. But here is the 3rd wave incoming. They give you a minute, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some Lancer ammunition for myself, and it's too bad that those frag grenades don't keep respawning. And I'm gonna fabricate some more cages. And see the frag grenade that I put in that little area? That is for the grenadier who always spawns over there and who gives me a hard time. So if you're not too familiar with Gears of War, For some reason, you can only have 2 grenades on the battlefield outstanding at any time. The third one will set off the first one, and then basically it's preventing you from having more than 2 frag grenades tagged to the ground at any one time. So I was rewatching my insane difficulty video, and I heard myself saying that this wave didn't give me too many problems, but this wave gave me the most problems this time around because of the excessive number of enemies and basically the hunters at the end getting the upper hand on me. What is a hunter? A hunter is an enemy with a torque bow. Enemies with torque bows are just as dangerous as enemies with long shots. They can instantly kill you. But even worse, sometimes they won't even stick their arrows into you, but the splash of the arrows can be near you, and you can still get instantly killed. So now is a period of waiting, and you can use the machine that you have here and as a signal to see where enemies are coming. Your teammates are going to tell you, like, they're coming from the right and the left. I think at first you've got a small little grouping of the screamers and the juvies, and then you're going to have a succession of that, which is good because juvies with other enemies, it's just not a pleasant experience, and it would just be way too frustrating. So I respect the game makers for having the restraint to not put groupings of enemies like that together. It's fine if they're individualized, but now, what is your rhyme and reason for like where I put my devices? I really don't have one, guys. I just kind of put them wherever I feel like they might be helpful. I frag tag underneath the windows. And one other thing that you might want to do, you see these turret guns, you might want to aim them directly in front of the window. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to put a turret in front of either one of the windows, and maybe a scarecrow in the center along with some strips, because the hunters, they seem to kind of jump through the window sometimes. So if you had the guns directly aimed at the windows, that might help. Anything that'll help, basically. So when this gets really stressful is when your teammates say that the hunters are coming, because when the hunters are coming, the torque bow arrows are probably going to be coming your way. And it just gets really difficult when your teammates can't handle the load. And it's hard to say, whose fault that is. I'm always disposed to put the blame on myself, because there's nothing really worse than hearing somebody complain that the game is constantly failing when the person's having a hard time recognizing his own misgivings and shortcomings. And you're going to see the teammates fall down several times probably. And a couple times, the hunters just outright killed me. The barbed strips on the ground that you can place, they do noticeably slow down and trap the enemies. Like the strips that you place on the ground that cost 4,000 credits, I think they're 4,000. Enemies will just get like stuck, and they'll stop in those barbed areas, and have damage caused to them. But you're gonna see some divine intervention over here, guys, because and yes, that is a Pulp Fiction reference, but I have no idea, and this is also difficult too when you've got juvies coming into the picture too. So once they're all cleared, then you're probably going to get assailed by the hunters. So be really careful. One of the drawbacks of a third-person shooter is the character's profile blocking certain parts of the screen that you would otherwise be best served by being able to see. and hence you would want to increase your field of view as much as possible. So I do have the field of view up to, the maximum. I'm not sure what it is. It's either 90 or 100. But now we've got a precarious situation because my defenses are all falling apart. My teammates are both in need of a revive, and I've got grenadiers and nashers and hunters, all coming after me, and it's just, I'm getting served a little bit by the barbed strips. I was able to give my teammates a revive, but it's probably only going to be a matter of time until they fall down again. And this doesn't happen too often. It's just that they're getting completely overwhelmed, and it's really not a good idea to leave this room. So, the more strategically placed defenses, the better, is all I can say. Look at this. Watch this. Okay, so the first hunter went down, and I don't know what is going on here, guys. I have no clue, but somehow I survived. How in God's name did I not get killed by any one of those hunters? It's beyond me. Well, I guess we can say this if we can say nothing else. YouTube may not be looking out for old Buck Benedict, but Lord Jesus Christ definitely was in that instance. Anyway, guys, we're just about finished with this chapter. We're going to be turning some valves over here, and it's during these types of sequences over here that you realize the QuickTime events in this game are used very sparingly, and that is a good thing because too many QuickTime events can just overwhelm a game, and just you start to question, like, why do I have to keep tapping buttons when the game could just perform the action for me? What is the point of just continually... Ever played Dante's Inferno? Is that what it's called? Yeah, that's what it's called. The game that came out in 2010, I really like it. It's a good game. It's, it could have been a lot better, but the amount of depending on what platform you're playing on, the amount of B button tapping and O button tapping, like, you spend so much of that game just tapping the circle button or the B button. It's absolutely ridiculous. But now what we're doing is we're just going to be taking out a couple of pouncers, and I really am sorry. The first time I covered this game, I was calling these guys the Snatchers. I was not paying attention, They're clearly an enemy that pounces, hence that's why they're called the Pouncer. Enemies are called very simple things in this game, and so are weapons. You've got the boom shot, it goes boom. Things are very just... I just love the juxtaposition of simplicity and complexity. And that's one of the appeals I've always had for Gears of War. It's just fantastic. I love it. But anyway, once you clear out this room, you're going to be doing a running section. And, these sections, they've got to go. I mean, they could have just been a cutscene, and you start to question, why is this even in the game? The game doesn't need this. It's junk. This is a junky part. But I think we've said about all we need to say. Thank God we can resume playing the game as it's, without this horde mode bullshit. I still have never played Gears of War multiplayer, and I never will. Don't want to, don't care, don't have any friends, don't need any friends, don't want any friends. I'm busy, man. Life's fucking crazy and busy. But I'm glad that you guys keep coming back. Like this, what is this all about? I died about 5 times over here. Wait for it, guys. I'm gonna run to the goal. Buck Benedict going all the way. He's going all the way to the goal line. He's going to make a touchdown. Buck Benedict is going to make himself in a touchdown. And then look at this. The context button, it wouldn't even press it. I pressed the X button 5 times, and it just would not recognize that I was pressing X over here. I think I was getting staggered continually over there, and it kept pushing me back. All I wanted to do was press the X button. But again, you question the futility of things like that. Altogether junky sections and a lamentable chapter. I think that's a word that I'm going to use as a euphemism for what I could otherwise say as harsh words, but I'm going to not say things like that because we're done. We don't need to do this anymore. I think there's only one more Horde-like chapter later in the game, in the 5th act, either the 4th or the 5th act. I don't know too much about that, and I don't care. Like I said, never will play multiplayer, never want to, don't care. Truly don't care. All I care about is the single-player campaign. I care about the sanctity of the single-player campaign, and I care about you. So please keep coming back, guys, and I will see you in 3-6. For 3-5, this is Buck Benedict. Take care.